What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi, today working on boss 1-3 in Grand War. Now, this boss is not really a mystery, it's kind of pretty predictable. You are going to use a light team, you are going to be preferred to use physical because physical is going to be neutral. Magic can be used, but magic is going to be resisted about 25%, so you can debuff magic and still use it, just it's a preferred methodology to use physical if at all possible. Now, light is a must. Light is debuffed 40%, so any of the debuffs we put on early game are going to take it down to about 100% deficiency. And I'll show you that come turn 2 or 3. Let's go ahead and jump in and do this side by side, okay? So Line is going to jump in and do her 33% SAH charge. No one's, that's not a mystery. That is kind of a known fact that we're going to do it that way, okay? Then we're going to come in and just do our general debuffs here. This is going to be a magic and light resistance debuff. Nothing too crazy there. She actually could buff herself. Actually, you know what? I don't actually need that. So I think I can avoid using that. And just use this. And I'll kind of explain why here. So when this unit comes in, she's going to hit with a self-strength and light attack damage buff and give all allies 30% HP regen. That'll be really nice. And this unit's going to come in with a light resistance 40%. And even though, like, this unit is magic, magic's not going to be a huge factor here. She's here for one reason and one reason only. So I'm not really too worried about that. I'd rather her get her buffs out. So we're going to do this way. It's a little bit different than what I had planned to do, but, I think it's going to be slightly more effective. Now, we do take a little bit of damage early game. I'm not terribly worried about it. I haven't lost anybody in this fight yet, so it's not the end of the world. And you will notice that, I'm not using maximum broken units predominantly. I mean, I will say predominantly. I am using them, but main thing is you want to pay close attention to Ryu here, because Ryu is only +3. So if she can survive, any other +3 can survive. She's not, like, crazy beefy in comparison. She has, she's good, but she's not end of the world good. So it's not like she has, like, a crazy amount of defense or HP over any other magic unit. I'd say she's about on par with any current magic unit. And if you really want a comparison, Anya here, while max limit broken, is about coming up on 2 years old. Maybe even older than that. About 2 years old, I want to say. So, we've got a very aged unit. We've got, a unit that really doesn't have a great fit. We've got a more recent unit here. So we've got a good wide range of things we're going to work with. But I would say if Ryu can survive this, then your +3 can survive this, no problem whatsoever. So if you don't have a maximum broken team, it might take you a couple extra turns, like I said before, but you can definitely use this methodology. Now, Bell's going to come in for an interesting purpose here. He's going to debuff agility, but I don't think it's a major thing. It's mostly that physical resistance debuff. Now, the downside is this foe will remove debuffs at some point. In fact, I believe fairly early on he removes them. So this isn't a huge value yet, but we are going to apply another debuff here shortly, and it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just this is going to be a little bit of an early damage dealer. Okay? Now she's going to come down, and let's see. She's got a bunch of buffs. We're going to debuff on this turn. This unit's going to come up and do a physical and light resistance down 30%. Actually, no, that's pointless. Let's go and do her skill 3. We're going to save her skill 2 until the buffs are removed. So we're going to do her skill 3, and then this unit is going to come up and do her skill 2. So we got skill 1, skill 1, skill 3, skill 2. Let's go. All right, so we will need to pay close attention here. Actually, notice he just did remove his debuffs. So I take that back. We will need to apply the debuffs back, which sucks, but the nice part is Bell's debuff is still in place. So that's going to stay in place for a little bit of time. That's going to be quite nice. So agility and physical are debuffs, so we need to go ahead and debuff magic once again. It is what it is. We will need to debuff light resistance once again, which we have right here, 40%. And with Harahime, we're going to come in and do her 33% just because she's going to need that, and that's not bad to refresh the buffs on everybody. All right. Now, after this turn, Harahime is going to give us buff replication. So I need to go around to everybody and make sure they still have their buffs. So she only has all unit and SA gauge charge because of last turn. So I'm going to go ahead and do Blowing Wind so that we get our debuffs replicated a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do skill 1. Give everybody a penetration and counter rate. So, let's see. Magic and light resistance, that's good. So we'll do her skill 3 to get her buffed. This unit, we will do skill 1 to get her rebuffed. So I bet her buffs are gone. So I think this unit also removes buffs as well. It looks like buffs and debuffs both get removed. So we'll need to pay very, very, very close attention to that to make sure our buffs stay in play. Also, let's see. Yep, we'll need to do skill 2 to get those buffs back in play as well. So here we go. Buffs are going to be in play. We'll keep an eye on our icons there. Make sure that our icons don't get taken out too much. Alright. And then we're going to go back and do Blowing Wind. I don't think the debuff replication is going to be a big deal, but just in case, I do want to at least get another turn or two out of them. And everyone should move on to their big hit at this point. So that's her big hit. That's her big hit. And that's her big hit. Let's go. So buffs are still in play. You can actually see the icons are pretty far over the character icon. And actually, it looks like he removed debuffs again. He did remove debuffs again. So in this turn, we need to go ahead and put debuffs back on. She is, let's see. Yeah, Dawn Wind is running out, so I'm going to go ahead and replicate that. Let's go ahead and do Magic and Light Resistance 30%. And Light and Guard Rate 30%. And this will do we have, I believe we just have the 30% physical resistance. So we'll do that just to have some physical resistance debuffing. Let's go. And this will be important because next turn we're going to do a triple SA. Now, normally we work on a quad system. Normally we quad SA, and that is, generally speaking, a good methodology. But in this situation, I've got a unit here whose SA isn't so great. All she does is get SA gauge charge 100%. We really don't need that. We got to beat this unit in 2 turns. And so 100% SA gauge charge is going to give us much. So I'm going to go ahead and give her, plus it doesn't hit very hard. I'm going to keep her skill 3 and give an SA to everybody else. Haruhime needs no introduction. She does 120% strength and magic. This Ryu does 80% magic and light attack damage to all allies. So she's going to give a light buff to everybody, which is going to be super duper nice. Remember, the biggest buff is the one that takes effect. They don't stack, so her 80% isn't going to add on to Haruhime's 200%. But Haruhime's is going to be in place, then her light buff is going to be in place, so anybody that doesn't have a better light buff is going to lose it. And Anya's going to come in and just do a crazy amount of damage with her 65% buff. So, let's see what happens here. Boom! That's nice. Ooh, the downside is, and I just happened to realize this, I think this foe removes the buffs on this turn, so might have been better to wait till turn 8. Ugh, I just realized that. I just realized that. Man. Did he? No, he didn't. He did. He did. So the reality is, no, he didn't. He didn't. We are still good. We still have our buffs. Great news. Let's go and do our single targets one more time. You might remove them on this turn, so we want to do as much damage as possible. Let's go. He did remove his debuffs, though. So he probably could have reapplied those. But I want to try to get out as much damage as possible. We still are buffed. Yeah. Buff still in play. Let's do our single targets one more time. He's got just over 1 million damage left. And he's dead. There we go. Perfect. So I could have reapplied the debuffs, but honestly I think the 2 turns of just attacking rather than having the debuffs probably was a little more effective. Remember, sometimes you could spend time debuffing, and then in the end it just hurts you. Maybe with as little health as he had left, it probably wouldn't have been an issue, but I kind of erred a little bit on the cautious side there. As much as I hate to call that a cautious side, it kind of is. So, there you go, guys. Boss 1-3, absolutely destroyed. Love it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Hope this helps you guys out. Once again, notice my Ryu survived the whole thing at +3 without any major defensive buffs at all. So if you have +2, +3 units, you should be fine. If you need to, run a defensive buff in the place where I was running my Bell, because my Bell was kind of redundant. Not really, but he got a little early damage out, but he was a little redundant. So you can run a defensive buff there instead. And the other big thing to bear in mind there is that, it will take a couple extra turns if your units aren't max limit broken. You might not get the S clear, but you can get an A clear and get the rewards, and that's the important part. Those rewards really are the important part of this. So I'll be back with Enemy 1-4 here coming up real soon. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you guys shortly.